It's Super Bowl Sunday. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports ready to get into the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors. And before we get into a lot of those news and rumors, what's coming up here on today's show, we're going to be talking about the draft. We're going to be talking about free agency. We got a lot of fun stuff on tap. The first thing that we're going to be breaking down here is around center Tyler Linderbaum. And I personally think he's the top-ranked interior offensive lineman in this year's draft, and that is also according to Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. He's been compared to Quentin Nelson, who I personally think is actually the best overall interior offensive lineman in the National Football League. There's no doubt. The Ravens need some help to bolster that O-line. I mean, when you're Lamar Jackson, as mobile as he is, and he got hit as much as he has, whether you think Jackson is the future or not, you can't have a quarterback behind the offensive line like Baltimore had this past season, especially if you're going to try to be a run-centric team. Now, here's what Bleacher Report had to say on why they believe that Baltimore should go out and try to target Linderbaum at number 14 overall in this year's draft. 2021 starter Bradley Boozman is scheduled to reach free agency, and according to The Athletic's Jeff Zrebiec, Boozman has probably priced himself out of return. According to him, Ravens general manager Eric Decosta has called the offensive line a point of emphasis for the offseason. It should be, as the Ravens allowed 57 sacks during the regular season and watched as quarterback Lamar Jackson suffered a season-ending ankle injury. Now, the term of generational talent, first off, gets used way too often. However, I've studied a lot of prospects and I've studied a lot of tape. I actually think that Tyler Linderbaum is the most complete center prospect that I've seen in 10 years. Last season, according to PFF, a 95.8 overall run blocking grade. If you're trying to run the football, Linderbaum's your guy to go out and get. So let's just say you're sitting here, it's draft day, it's in April, and you hear with the 14th overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens go out and select Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum. I want you to grade it A, B, C, D, or F. For me personally, I would give this an A+ grade. Now, to make sure you guys never miss any Ravens content, we got you covered here because whether we're talking about things right before the Super Bowl, in fact, I want you to take note. Tell me how many other Ravens channels today give you content. Why? We're just built different. We want to keep you guys up to date, news, rumors, and if we can give you free videos when nobody else will, we got you covered. So hit that sub button, turn on those notifications because I don't want you to miss anything. One thing that I definitely wouldn't want you to miss is if there was a reunion between Hayden Hurst and the Baltimore Ravens, you damn know we're going to be making a video. Now, Hurst personally was never all that crazy about him when he was drafted out of South Carolina and he was drafted by the Ravens back in 2018. Then he was traded to the Atlanta Falcons in 2020 for a second-round pick. Personally, when I saw that trade go down, I was like, wow, that was a big-time win for the Ravens. Now the fact is this. The fact that he was traded still on his rookie deal, Atlanta has turned down his fifth-year option. The fact that they have turned down his fifth-year option means he is then going to be a free agent. So could you potentially see a scenario where Baltimore's like, you know what? We really liked this kid when he first came out. Sure, it probably wasn't worth a first-round pick, which we could all agree on that. But actually had himself a halfway decent year in 2020 where he had 56 catches, 571 yards, 6 touchdowns with Baltimore. And if he's out there on the free agent pool, you can go ahead, bring him in. Obviously, he's not going to supplant Mark Andrews, who right now you could actually make an argument as the best tight end in all of football, and I'm not afraid to go up here and say that. But to be a solid number 2 guy and a system that likes to run 2 tight end sets, sure, why not? Here's what Mark Andrews had to say on Hayden Hurst leaving in 2020. The three-headed monster kind of got broken up a little bit, but again, we're going to be just fine. Nick Boyle and I will do our jobs, and then obviously we're going to find someone else to help us out. And at that time, yeah, they were right. They were able to go out and find somebody else. Mark Andrews is going to get most of the reps. But what would you guys have to say if the Ravens were like, okay, we're interested in Hayden Hurst. We want to go ahead and bring him back into Baltimore. He's not going to be somebody that you go out and break the bank for, but if you're just looking for a guy that can fit that system, and God forbid anything happens to Andrews, he'd be able to step in. So should the Ravens go out and sign Hayden Hurst, Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. Now, I don't know about y'all, BetUS, man, we got a hell of a deal going on, and Jeremy, my producer, was so excited to tell you guys about this deal. He even got a little bit handsy with the mouse, a little click, click. So go to chatsports.com/bet if you want to bet on Super Bowl 56, whether you want to bet on the Rams, whether you bet on the Bengals. You can go ahead and do so. If you put down $100, you're going to get $125 for free to bet with. Why? It's the 125% deposit bonus. It is the best deal on the internet. So if you want to bet on the Super Bowl, if you want to bet on things after the Super Bowl, if you want to bet on something as simple as like the GATORADE color on which color gets poured on the winning coach, you can actually do that. Orange at plus 200. I think they think that the Bengals are going to go ahead and win it. That's all I got to say. Clear/water at plus 300. Lime, yellow, and green at plus 400. Red Gatorade. If you drink red Gatorade, you probably have something common with Dexter, the serial killer. Blue at plus 450. And then purple plus 450. Also, if you call Gatorade the name of the flavor, you are also a closet serial killer. It should be called by the color, so this is correct on BetUS's part. Just another fun example of what you guys can bet on. It's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code chat125. The latest news and rumors circulating around Baltimore could be around their star wide receiver, Marquise Brown. And is he staying? Is he going? And where he could actually potentially land up. So Brown has been linked to multiple different types of trade rumors. He had himself a little bit of an up and down 2021 season. Brown was definitely one of these receivers where if you turned on the tape and you watched him drop like, I don't know, that one game dropped like 3 or 4 touchdown passes, and then a few plays later makes like a diving touchdown catch. There are glimpses of Brown, you're like, this guy is a true number one receiver. And there's other times you're like, well, you don't even look like you should be on a football field. Now, GM Eric Decosta has publicly supported Brown this offseason, which obviously, very important thing. Anytime you get your general manager to back up a player, it's good things to come. This is what Decosta had to say on Hollywood Brown. First of all, Marquise was my first pick, and I think very highly of Marquise. I think he's a talent. I love his personality and his competitiveness and his passion. I think he had over 90 catches. He had 91 this year and just over 1,000 yards. He did have 1,008 yards. But I like his energy that he brings. And quite honestly, for his skill set, for what he brings to the table, the fifth-year option in my mind, if you look at receivers and what they're making now, it looks like a bargain. So when he was first drafted out of Oklahoma, small type of receiver, but one of the things that Baltimore wanted to be able to do was add that speed, add that element, because if you can take the top off, shout out Valentine's Day tomorrow, if you can take the top off a defense, it opens up a lot for your running game. Whether that was at the time Mark Ingram or now, J.K. Dobbins or whoever's going to be the lead back in Baltimore going into next season. It's going to be J.K. Dobbins if he's healthy. But having that speed obviously really helps. This season, though, only having 91 grabs for 1,000 yards, 91 catches is fine. The 1,000 yards you're looking for a little bit more out of because he does have that burner speed. Now, you can point the finger at Lamar Jackson. You can point the finger at Tyler Huntley. You can point the finger at the poor offensive line job that Baltimore had this year. But could Marquise get better? Abso-freaking-lutely. Does he have opportunity to grow? For sure. But when you have Sammy Watkins as your free agent, I personally wouldn't bring the Lizard King back. You also, though, drafted Rashad Bateman this past draft out of Minnesota in the first round. So I don't know about you, but when I see stuff like that happening, I'm like, maybe they don't believe in Marquise Brown ever being a true number one receiver. So how about you guys weigh in here? Type 1 for yes, type 0 for no. Can Hollywood Brown be a true number one receiver in the National Football League? I'm going to go ahead and type my 0 for no because I think he's more of a 1B style of guy. He's not somebody out there I'm going to throw out in the field and say, all right, this is a top 12 receiver. He's not. He's a great complementary receiver. Personally, I think Bateman has the higher upside, but at the end of the day, you got to keep Marquise Brown because DeCosta's right. At his current value, it is an absolute steal. Now, if the Ravens decide to move on from Brown, if they decide to trade him, you guys are going to get a video. So if you made it this far, we're doing something right around here. So please go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you turn on those notifications. And before I go, all I want to know down in those comments is who you got Super Bowl 56. Type R for the Rams, or I want you to go ahead and type B for the Bengals.